A 42-year-old man walks into Judge Caprio's courtroom facing a traffic violation. He's been cited. He knows what he did. And now he has to face the consequences. But before Judge Caprio can even announce the fine, this man does something spectacularly arrogant. He declares he's not paying anything. He's already made up his mind. The judge hasn't ruled yet, but this defendant has already decided the answer is no. I pay taxes. That's enough. I'm not paying this. Judge Frank Caprio stops cold. Did this man just tell a judge that he's refusing to pay a fine that hasn't even been issued yet? Did he just suggest that paying taxes exempts him from following laws? What happens next is a complete destruction of a man who gambled away his marriage, his relationship with his children, and now his chance at leniency in court. Hit subscribe right now because 97% of viewers haven't subscribed to the Narrator. And this case proves why gambling addicts who blame everyone but themselves get exactly what they deserve. By the end of this video, you'll watch a man turn a manageable fine into a devastating penalty, all because he couldn't stop arguing long enough to hear what the judge was actually going to say. Here's the question. Why do some people fight battles they can't win just to avoid admitting they were wrong? You're about to find out. Thursday afternoon, 11:20 a.m. Providence Municipal Court. The bailiff calls Marcus Thompson. Reckless driving, excessive speed. A man in his early 40s walks in. Jeans, hoodie, baseball cap. The posture of someone who doesn't want to be here, and isn't hiding it. Hands in pockets, slight slouch. Expression that says this is all a waste of his time. Judge Caprio looks up. Mr. Thompson, good morning. Please remove your hat in the courtroom. Marcus takes off his cap slowly, making it clear he thinks it's a stupid rule. Mr. Thompson, you're cited for reckless driving on Route 95. The officer clocked you at 87 miles per hour in a 55 zone. That's 32 miles over the speed limit. Can you tell me what happened? Marcus shrugs. I was driving. I was going with traffic. That's what happened. The tone is dismissive from the very start, not defensive, not apologetic, just dismissive. Judge Caprio reviews the citation. According to the officer's report, you were weaving between lanes and tailgating other vehicles. Is that accurate? I was trying to get somewhere. Everyone drives like that on 95. Mr. Thompson, not everyone drives 32 miles over the speed limit while weaving through traffic. Look, Your Honor, I don't know what you want me to say. I was speeding. Fine, whatever, but I'm not paying some ridiculous fine just because the state needs money. Judge Caprio's eyebrows raise. Excuse me? I said I'm not paying. I pay enough in taxes already. The city makes enough money off me. I'm not paying this ticket. The courtroom goes silent. The prosecutor looks up from her notes, surprised. The bailiff shifts position slightly, ready in case this escalates. Judge Caprio speaks very carefully. Mr. Thompson, I haven't issued a fine yet. I haven't made any ruling. Why are you already stating you won't pay? Because I know how this works. You're going to hit me with some $200 to $300 fine for driving. I'm telling you right now, I'm not paying it. Mr. Thompson, let me explain how this actually works. I ask questions. I review the evidence. I consider. Sir Judge Caprio pulls up Marcus' driving record on his screen. What he sees makes his expression harden. Mr. Thompson, this is your fourth speeding violation in 3 years. You have 2 previous citations for reckless driving. You've also failed to pay 2 prior fines which are currently in collections. Is that correct? Marcus shifts uncomfortably. I don't keep track of every ticket. You don't keep track. Mr. Thompson, you owe the city $800 in unpaid fines right now. Like I said, I'm not paying those either. Judge Caprio leans forward. Mr. Thompson, help me understand something. You're 42 years old. You have a history of dangerous driving. You owe substantial unpaid fines. And you're standing here telling me you refuse to pay this one too. What's your plan here? My plan is to not give the city any more of my money. Do you work, Mr. Thompson? Yeah, I work. I do construction when I can find it. When you can find it. So employment is inconsistent. Times are tough, Your Honor. Not everyone has a steady paycheck. Judge Caprio reviews more of the file. Mr. Thompson, I see in the court records that you went through a divorce 2 years ago. Is that correct? Marcus's face darkens. What does that have to do with a speeding ticket? I'm trying to understand your financial situation and your pattern of behavior. The divorce records are public. They indicate that your ex-wife cited gambling addiction as a primary reason for the divorce. Is that accurate? That's personal business. It became court business when it was filed in divorce proceedings, Mr. Thompson. The records also show you have 2 children, ages 9 and 12. Do you pay child support? Marcus's jaw clenches. When I can. When you can. So, you have inconsistent employment, gambling issues, unpaid child support, and now unpaid traffic fines. And you're telling me the system is the problem? The system is the problem. I'm trying to survive, and everyone's got their hand out wanting money I don't have. Mr. Thompson, you were driving 87 miles per hour weaving through traffic. That's not survival. That's reckless endangerment. I was just trying to get to a job site. At 87 miles per hour? What job is worth risking your life and everyone else's on the highway? Marcus doesn't have a good answer to that. Judge Caprio continues. Mr. Thompson, I'm going to ask you directly. Do you currently have a gambling problem? That's none of your business. It is my business when I'm trying to determine why a 42-year-old man with children has destroyed his marriage, can't pay his bills, owes the court $800, and is standing here refusing to pay a fine I haven't even issued yet. Marcus's face flushes red. You don't know anything about my life. Then tell me. Explain to me why I should believe you're going to pay this fine when you haven't paid any of the others. Because I'm telling you I'm not going to pay it. How's that for honesty? Judge Caprio's expression shifts from patient to stern. Mr. Thompson, your honesty about refusing to follow the law is not something to be proud of. I follow the law. I pay my taxes. That should be enough. Paying taxes doesn't exempt you from traffic laws, Mr. Thompson. Everyone pays taxes. That doesn't give you the right to drive recklessly. Recklessly? I was going with traffic. You were going 32 miles over the speed limit while weaving between lanes. The officer's report is very clear. The officer probably had a quota to fill. Judge Caprio's voice hardens. Mr. Thompson, now you're insulting police officers who are doing their jobs. I'm just saying what everyone knows. Cops have quotas. They pull people over to make money for the city. That's not true. And you know it. Officers enforce traffic laws to keep people safe. Marcus lets out a derisive laugh. Keep people safe, right? That's why they hide on the side of the road trying to catch people going 5 miles over. You weren't going 5 miles over, Mr. Thompson. You were going 32 miles over. Whatever. The point is, the whole system is corrupt, and I'm tired of pretending it's not. The courtroom has gone completely silent. Everyone can see this is spiraling toward disaster, but Marcus seems oblivious or doesn't care. Judge Caprio stands up. Mr. Thompson, I want you to listen very carefully to what I'm about to say. Marcus crosses his arms, defiant posture in full display. You walked in here today with a reckless driving citation that typically carries a fine of $350 plus possible license suspension. I was reviewing your case, seeing your circumstances, considering whether to reduce the fine or create a payment plan. I don't want a payment plan. I'm not finished, Mr. Thompson. Don't interrupt me. The sharp tone stops Marcus cold. I was considering leniency because I can see you're struggling. Divorce, gambling issues, inconsistent employment, children you can't consistently support. These are serious problems that deserve compassion. Marcus looks slightly hopeful for the first time. However, your behavior in this courtroom has been disrespectful, defiant, and hostile. You've insulted police officers. You've accused the court. Judge Caprio sits back down, but his expression remains severe. Mr. Thompson, here's my ruling. The fine for reckless driving with excessive speed is $350. Marcus starts to interrupt, but Judge Caprio holds up his hand. However, because of your behavior in this courtroom, your refusal to take responsibility, your insults toward law enforcement, and your stated intention to not comply with court orders, I'm adding additional penalties. Marcus's face goes white. I'm adding a $200 penalty for contempt of court. Your total fine is now $550. What? That's insane. I'm not finished. Because you have $800 in existing unpaid fines and because you've demonstrated you have no intention of paying, I'm referring your case to the district attorney for criminal non-payment proceedings. You can't do that. I absolutely can, Mr. Thompson. And I am. Additionally, your driver's license is suspended effective immediately for 90 days. You're suspending my license? How am I supposed to get to work? You should have thought about that before you drove recklessly and then stood in my courtroom refusing to accept responsibility. This whole system is rigged. Judge Caprio's voice rises. Mr. Thompson, you will not use that language in this courtroom. I'll say whatever I want. This is America. Bailiff. If Mr. Thompson continues to be disruptive, remove him from the courtroom. The bailiff steps closer. Marcus realizes he's pushed too far. Mr. Thompson, let me make something very clear. You came here with a $350 fine. With 1 hour of humility and respect, you could have left with a reduced fine and a payment plan. Instead, your attitude has cost you an extra $200, 90 days without a license, and a criminal referral. Marcus is shaking with anger and fear now. How am I supposed to pay $550? I told you I don't have money. The same way everyone else does. You work. You make payments. You take responsibility. But I have a gambling problem. I can't control it. Judge Caprio's response is cold. Mr. Thompson, gambling addiction is a serious issue that deserves treatment, but it doesn't excuse driving recklessly. It doesn't excuse refusing to pay child support, and it certainly doesn't excuse. Marcus tries a different approach, his voice desperate. Your Honor, please. I have 2 kids. They need me. Judge Caprio's expression doesn't soften. Mr. Thompson, don't use your children as leverage. If you cared about your children, you would have thought about them before you gambled away your marriage, before you drove recklessly, before you refused to pay child support, before you came into this court with attitude and disrespect. I do care about them. Then prove it. Get treatment for your gambling addiction. Pay your fines. Pay your child support. Stop breaking traffic laws. Show up for your children in ways that matter. How can I do any of that without a license, without money? The same way millions of people who make mistakes do it. You take the bus. You get rides. You walk. You figure it out, because the alternative is worse. What's worse than this? Judge Caprio leans forward. Jail, Mr. Thompson. If you continue to refuse to pay your fines, if you drive on a suspended license, if you keep acting like the law doesn't apply to you, you will end up in jail. Is that what you want? Marcus shakes his head, finally showing real fear. Then here's what you're going to do. You're going to leave this courtroom and immediately contact a gambling addiction treatment program. The court clerk will give you a list of resources. I can't afford treatment. Many programs are free or sliding scale. You're going to find one and you're going to commit to it. Then you're going to set up a payment plan for your $550 fine plus your $800 in existing debt. That's $1,350 total. Marcus looks devastated by the amount. You'll pay $50 per month. It will take you over 2 years to pay off, but you will pay it every month. No excuses. If you miss a payment, the DA will prosecute. Do you understand? Yes, Your Honor. And Mr. Thompson, I want to be very clear about something. Your gambling addiction is real. It's destroying your life. Your marriage is gone. Your relationship with your children is damaged. You're financially unstable. And you're standing in court owing more money than you can afford. Marcus is crying now, the reality of his situation fully hitting him. But then a man in the back row stands up. "Judge, if I may?" "Go ahead, sir." The man looks at Marcus. "Brother, I was where you are. I lost my wife. I lost my house. I owed money everywhere. And I blamed everyone but myself, the casinos, the government, my ex-wife, everyone." Marcus won't look at him. "But you know what? I finally learned the gambling was my choice. Every bet, every loss, every lie I told, my choice. And until I owned that, nothing changed. I kept losing, kept blaming, kept destroying everything." "How did you stop?" Marcus asked quietly. "I got help. Real help. Treatment. Gamblers Anonymous. Therapy. And I paid back every dollar I owed. Took me 4 years, but I did it. And my kids talk to me again now. My life isn't perfect, but it's mine again." He sits back down. Judge Caprio nods appreciatively. "Mr. Thompson, you just heard from someone who knows exactly what you're going through. The question is whether you're going to keep blaming the system or whether you're going to take responsibility and change." "I want to change, Your Honor." "Then prove it. Get treatment. Pay your debts. Follow the law. Show your children that their father can overcome addiction and become someone they can be proud of." "Where are you watching from?" "Comment your city if you believe addiction explains behavior but doesn't excuse it." Judge Caprio continues. "Mr. Thompson, you're 42 years old. You're young enough to rebuild, but you're running out of time. Every year you spend gambling is a year you're not building a relationship with your children. Every dollar you lose is a dollar you could have used to pay your debts or support your kids." "I know, Your Honor. I know." "Then stop knowing and start doing, because the next judge might not be as patient. The next time you're in court for reckless driving or unpaid fines, you might go straight to jail. Is that what you want for your children? To have a father in jail?" "No, Your Honor." "Then get help today. Not tomorrow. Today. The resources are available. Use them." Judge Caprio picks up his gavel. Total fine, $550. Existing debt, $800. Total owed. Ladies and gentlemen, addiction is real. It destroys families, finances, and futures. That man needs help, and I hope he gets it. But addiction doesn't excuse reckless endangerment. It doesn't excuse refusing to pay child support, and it certainly doesn't excuse standing in a courtroom insulting officers and declaring you won't follow the law. I gave him consequences, and a path forward. Treatment, payment plan, time to rebuild. But he has to choose to take it. No one can force him to get better. He has to want it for himself and for his children. Subscribe to the Narrator right now for more moments where personal responsibility meets harsh reality, and where excuses don't erase consequences. Marcus Thompson walked in defiant and arrogant. He left with $550 in new fines, 90 days without a license, and the realization that his gambling addiction has cost him far more than money. Judge Frank Caprio proved once again that compassion has limits, and that people who insult the system while refusing accountability get exactly what they deserve. This is what happens when addiction becomes an excuse instead of an explanation. When blame defeats responsibility, and when someone's own mouth turns a manageable situation into a disaster.